I'd like to talk about truth and how to tell the truth. This is in respect to the Draupnir strategy, and I know I've spoken about the goal setting, but I haven't really given any tips or advice on how to. I sort of touched on it a little bit in the working with resistance video, talking about knowing when to apply pressure and when to relax on your subject or your opponent, whatever you're doing, whether you're combative or whether you are teaching, educating, telling truth. Now, like I believe I said in that video, there's a desire or a inclination when you are first learning the ways of the world and all these new truths. There's a desire to go and just tell everybody everything you know because it's so important, and you think everybody needs to know all this right now, and they do. But to do so is overwhelming, and you're more likely than not turn your subjects away from what you're trying to tell them, and then they won't listen whatsoever. You don't want to be like that crazy guy in the street talking about the lizard people, who is still telling a lot of truths, but too much information is overwhelming, and if people aren't prepared for it, they're going to just shut off, the blinkers are on, and they are going to go back to their everyday way of living. Now, something I've come up with, and it's something I came up with ages ago, but how to explain this has been a bit of a trick. I guess the best way of explaining it is what I have created for myself, and I recommend wholeheartedly that people take this on. The reason I do this is so that it's easier for myself. If it's easy for me, it should be easy for everyone else as well. If I can do it, anyone can do it. That's my sort of way of looking at things. Now, I've created like a criteria or a ranking system for the people who I want to talk to and try and educate and tell the truth to. And the best thing about this criteria system is what we're doing is it's like a grading system, really. We're grading how up to scratch, how knowledgeable the people we're talking to are. And if we are seeking to mentor them and educate them, by grading them, you're also grading yourself in a sense. Anyone who's had any experience with teaching or coaching or mentoring, or had anyone as an apprentice under them or anything like that, or even just been an apprentice, you know what the feeling is like when you go from not knowing something to having a skill or a talent or some sort of qualification. How good it feels when you say, I've gotten somewhere, I've got something to show for it. We shouldn't need motivation. We don't need motivation to want to make our environment better and improve our surroundings, improve our society. You shouldn't need a motivation whatsoever for that. Having said that, a reward system always feels good when you're positively reinforcing. Now, I'm not really giving anything. I have no intention of giving anyone anything as a reward, but the way I look at it, when I grade a student or someone I'm mentoring, if I look at them and go, aha, you checked the criteria, now you're moving up a level, that makes me feel good. That gives me a dopamine hit, and it makes me want to continue to educate someone. It makes me want to continue to tell people truth. But when I see them go, aha, I worked something out. When I hear people tell me ideas or concepts, and it's something that I haven't necessarily told them firsthand. It's something I've laid out for them, little hints here and there, and then they come back and they start trying to red pill me. That's an awesome feeling. That is something that makes me think, aha, I'm actually doing something, and I realize that my efforts are not wasted. And that in itself is the reward. So the grading system that I use goes like this. I'm talking about Draupnir, which is a ring. The aim is to make golden rings that replicate in the same weight size, and value. Okay? Now, the way I grade the people that I talk to and I see them, you need to size up your opponents or your subjects, whether it's an enemy or whether it's a friend. Whatever you do, you need to be able to size them up. This is a great skill that will make your task very, very easy or very, very difficult, depending on your ability to measure up your subject or opponent. Now, the grading systems are this: gold, silver, and bronze, or copper. I prefer copper because of a little, obsessive compulsiveness about the gradings levels being base elements. Bronze is not a base element, but when you think about trophy medals and things like that, gold, silver, and bronze are, in that order, most and more valuable and more useful. Okay, so it follows the gold, silver, and bronze rings or yards, I think. And again, it's like we're breaking through barriers of truth, all right? Now, how to tell the truth and what the truths are, I'm not going to give example in this video because it's really hard to give an example of gold level truth on a platform which will only allow maximum silver truth, if that makes any sense. Telling golden truths on YouTube might get me deplatformed. I'm a nobody, but I still don't want to take any unnecessary risks. So gold, silver, and bronze rings or yards, and we're letting people into, again, we're using concentric circles, okay? Getting into the core, the golden core of the absolute, open, unfiltered truth. We don't want to give absolute, golden, unfiltered truth to people who can't handle. I would only give golden truths to people who are at the gates from the silver yard into the golden yard, if that makes sense. I would only give silver truths to people who are from the bronze yard at the gates into the silver yard, if that makes sense. Now, average people, we will give them bronze truths to try and get them into the bronze yard or the copper yard. Now, there's another tier of people, or degree, or class, or criteria of people, which I would call the lead weights, the dead weights. These people you do not waste your time with whatsoever. You cannot turn lead into gold. We are not alchemists. We don't want to be failed alchemists either. It's a futile waste of time. Lead weights, the people who are made of lead, these are like your absolute NPC, unchangeable, unthinking, no free will type of people. These are the people that have 9-to-5 jobs and think that's just great. They have their cereal in their morning, they have their allocated food breaks at their job, they drink their coffee all throughout the day, and then they get home and then they have their allocated television programs telling them how to wind down and what to think about before they go to sleep at an hour that they think's appropriate based on what they've been programmed to do. And then they wake up, they repeat 5 days on, 2 days off. 2 days off they spend doing the allocated, approved government, legal version of some sort of dissociative drug like alcohol. Maybe they'll go and spend some time in a designated relaxation area, sleep in on a Sunday, get themselves ready, really spoil themselves on a Sunday to get ready for their work week again on Monday. Good citizens, good guys, NPCs, lead weights, dead weights. They are very, very useful to the people who rule the world. But they have much more power of persuasion than we do. They have the monopoly on propaganda. We do not want to waste our time competing for the attention of those retards. Bronze tier people, or people at the gates of the bronze yard, might be still normies, but they have free will and they have the ability to formulate original ideas and maybe entertain something alternative. People at the gates of the bronze yard know that there's something wrong in the world. They're probably depressed and they're looking for some way to improve their life. So these are the kinds of people that you can work on, but these are also the hardest people to work on. Save for the lead weights. You might as well just go and bang your head against a brick wall. The people who are already in the bronze yard, at the gates of the silver yard, these are the curious types, the ones who are already maybe looking into conspiracy theories and stuff like that. They're the ones who are curious and they're already looking for answers. They may just not be looking in the right places. Okay, so you'll be able to tell more truths to them. You might be able to talk about topics that you can't talk to with your average normal person without them going, oh, you're crazy. I don't want to hear about that. These are the things you want to try and avoid. You don't want to use buzzwords that are going to trigger people into shutting off, putting the blinkers on, and then ignoring and discrediting everything you have to say. It's a fine line between, being an educated person informing someone and being the crazy homeless guy on the street yelling about the New World Order and globalist elites and so forth and so forth and so forth and so forth. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try and make a video to give example of how to tell truth about a topic within each yard, so that you can speak vaguely about the same topic in mind, but not given too much detail so that you're going too far with the wrong people, if that makes sense. I hope this video in itself was helpful. It was helpful for me to lay the foundations for giving some more detail in another video at a later time. So if that makes sense, good. If not, back to the drawing board for me, and I'm going to try again, because I'm not going to give up because something didn't happen. That's all I have to say. Thanks for listening.